In fact, a lot of people don't understand that even a relationship between the investor and the founder is like a marriage.
Oh yeah.
So it is about long-term partnership. So you have to look at it as a partner, but you also have to look at so many intangibles that come into play.
You should be able to, like, good news, okay, but when you have bad news,
Yeah.
when you're going through a rough time, you should be able to pick up the phone and have that frank talk or even a venting session with your investor. That's the kind of relationship you.
Like they keep saying this, and I'm sure you played this role because I know how you are, and innately that emotion comes out of you. They say a lot of times a good investor is a good therapist to the.
Absolutely, yeah.
And you, as it is, have this essence of being very motherly. So I'm sure you played the role of therapist to several founders of yours. But I want to now take and extrapolate one more aspect, which I think is very important for our viewers to try and extrapolate from this. In your 12 odd years as an investor, you would have seen 50, 60, 70 portfolios. In that also, you would have seen different portfolios reach different scales, different ranges, some extremely large, some moonshots, some building, some maybe not that successful. All of them have one common element around them, and that is the essence of human capital. And therefore, the ability to know that what is the right team, because in an entrepreneurship venture, like you started by saying that your team's one of the USPs that you found here was lean team. And therefore, leanness also ensures that the chemistry and the mindset remains very simple and clean, right? But when you put that into human capital and when you put that into hiring, you have seen several founders hire their L1s, L2s, L3s. Some may have been great hires. Some may have graduated to become even a co-founder tag. Some may have been very wrong hires. Now, in that experience, if you have to come back and extrapolate, and for our viewers, take those 2-3 points which are absolute must-haves in hiring when you look at hiring. And when I say you look at hiring vis-a-vis your portfolios. And the absolute 2-3 red flags to say that no matter how beautiful the package of that persona is, it's an absolute red flag. What would that be? Take us through that hiring mindset.
So, firstly, I think the point I would like to make is how important having the right team is. Initially, the founder or the founders may start off as just them, or maybe with 1 or 2 people, around them. But slowly they will realize that they can't do everything themselves, and
they're not supposed to.
They are not supposed to, exactly. They need to focus on what is core and what is their specialty. So if, for instance, in the consumer sector, you are starting a D2C business and you're really good at it, you want to go offline now, you need to get that
expert
who has the expertise, because you don't. So hiring that right team around you early on is very important, and also to keep revisiting that, because as you scale, the needs change.
Correct.
Initially, when you're a startup, you probably, for your social media, etc., you just need some young person who's enthusiastic, who knows the right things to say. But slowly, as you expand, your marketing needs will grow. You have to hire someone with the right experience for the right media, etc. So those things are important to keep in mind. One is to hire the right team, then to keep revisiting them as you scale. And the reason I made this point is because in our portfolio, we have seen whenever the founders, for whatever reason, and a lot of times it is insecurity as well.
Beautiful.
For instance, a founder...
fear of letting go.
Yes. And that fear also that, oh, I'm not good with numbers. What if I hire someone, that person becomes more important and soon will take over as CEO? Those kind of things. And our documents don't help because we try to build in those provisions. Never use, but we do have them. So those insecurities sometimes, I think, push the founders not to hire really good people, they sometimes surround themselves with yes men, and when they do that,
That's the most dangerous thing.
most dangerous. So that is something I think they really need to avoid when they are hiring people. They need people who are actually skilled for the job, and someone who won't be afraid to stand up to them and say that this is wrong, we need to change the way you're looking at things. And as far as red flags go, it can be different things, right? But one thing, whether it's, I mean, whatever kind of organization, I feel if you're trying to hire someone who haggles too much initially, whether it's for the money or for the equity, that's a big...
So you're saying missing the bigger picture.
Yes, absolutely. Especially when you're joining a startup. I think that's a huge red flag.
So that also shows that the person is not looking at skin in the game with due time.
Exactly. So that's a huge red flag in my mind in any organization.
Interesting, because what founders also need to know, and I really like what you put across as a thought, that fear of letting go is such a real fear.
We see that all the time.
Because also you can't blame the founders or the entrepreneurs so much, because for them, their baby is everything.
Yes.
One mindset problem also that happens is that you come with that. Initially, there is reason for it, but then over time and scale, as one gets maturity, one realizes that that's not the truth. But initially, you believe that no one can teach you better than your own business.
Yeah.
And therefore, you are completely vested and you should have control over everything. Whereas, the way to succeed is when you start delegating the right L1.
That's right.
Only then can you broad base and take it to the next level. Case in point, if I did not have an amazing team at the back end of building the firm along with me the way it is, or along with my other co-founders the way it is, if I didn't have fantastic partners, I don't think I would be able to be sitting here and doing this.
Yes.
For me to be able to do this means I have had those right hires and they have built it to that next level and taken it to that next level to be able to say that I can take that step back to also participate in something which is so dear to my heart.
No, absolutely.
So those, I think, matter a lot.
And it's not just the right team in-house. I also think, and maybe it also comes from the fact that I have a professional background in addition to being in an investment firm now. I think it's so important to have the right advisors. And I do understand why founders tend to, either because they want to save costs, they want to, whatever the reason, they want to just focus on the business and, things like that. They sometimes don't spend the money to engage the right lawyers, to engage the right tax advisors, and
Right bankers.
Right bankers, and every time that has happened, I have seen it comes back to bite them.
And in a much more expensive.
Absolutely.
A lot of times they take it as an expense line item, whereas the reality is it's actually an investment.
Yes, it is. And that is something we try to really tell our founders, that it's okay, spend that money, but you need that support. You need to have it done right and correctly and cleanly, so that when you're raising funds, you don't have to spend so much time creating your data room, cleaning up, your housekeeping items, all that stuff, and also making sure you have the right advisors by you when you're negotiating your documents, because the investors definitely will. So
and also time value of money.
Absolutely.
The right advisors will also teach you that time value of money is everything, because for a founder, it's that treasury management. Every day of delay is impacting the treasury and impacting the business. So when you have things in a place and order and your house is in order, closure is far quicker.
Yeah.